Sanje
Chudang Soge Chonam La Shonju Bado Dani Kyabsu Chi Dagi Chenzo Gibe Dagi Drola Penchara Sange Drupa Shu
Sanje
Chudang Soge Chonam La Shonju Bado Dani Kyabsu Chi Dagi Chunyen Gibe Dagi Drola Penchara Sange Drupa Shu
Sanje Chudang Soge
Hamla Shonju Dani Gyatso Che Dagi Shunyen Gibe Sonange Drola Penchara Sange Drupa Shu
이말다 랭아도단 니바가엔 단주지 멜리름 뭐지 톱디요레 아니 자와가 손지에 때 말은 뭐지 단자 트레벌가에 대바지 무기회진이 동트 그래 단 내내게네 그래 전화게네 자제 몸보진 좀더 옆에 감데 근데 주인 남바지 타바지 제고 버려.
So at this point of time, we have achieved this precious human body that is endowed with the various freedoms and richnesses that is difficult to obtain. We have attained this, and we have come to meet with the precious teachings of the Buddha, which are considered generally very difficult to meet with, and we've also met with the extremely difficult to meet virtuous friend, which we've already met, and at this point of time, that when all these conditions that are conducive for the practice of Dharma are gathered together at this point of time, then we should try out to the best ability to practice the Dharma to its purest degree. Yes.
이 말에 대용단데 땡대요. 다 랜덤은 해봐. 아니 이번 친구하다. 근데 대용하는 남질라 참해봐. 이 말에 땡대인데 주 손장 노자하세야게 모두 봐 마디바지 중에는 다다로네 로고야. 대용네 주 넘버다 보지 로고야. 이 말에
And also, having this achieved this precious human body, it does not exist for a very long period of time. One is definite to die due to impermanence, and also above that, the time of our death is yet uncertain as to when this death will descend upon us. And not only that, when therefore, at the time of death, the only thing that benefits is Dharma practice. Therefore, one should not delay one's Dharma practice. One should start practicing from here and now. And also, one should practice Dharma in extremely purely, in an extremely pure way. Yes. But do not delay one's practice till tomorrow because of death. Yes.
치외 오더는 매드먼로와 제와질랭고 제산요 낸로도 낸로니는 만데 바래 대용은 레간나기 지선로가 인데 맞아 도마 매반에 디바무게 와서 공부 체크가 인데 로상 낸로도 매대베서로 던지제 차대요래 당에서도 제나 아니 냐발라 차로 여다 되고 던로는 이제 때문 모습이 동안 소담해봐 다 된데 응에서 동안 전에 아니 지와제 더 가지고
So at the time of death, then without choice, one definitely needs to take a rebirth. And when one takes rebirth, there are only two places one can go to. One is the state of a happy migratory being, or that of a suffering migratory being. So therefore, these either happy realms or the suffering realms, and these which direction that one takes after death is dependent upon what kind of karma one is created, whether it is what we call a white virtuous karma or a black or negative karma, and that decides our rebirth after death. And since beginningless time until now, we have been very much accustomed to creating negative karma. So therefore, most likely we will fall into a bad rebirth, rebirth into a lower realm, since we have more negative karma. So therefore, if we were to be reborn in the lower realms, for example, in the hell realms, that of the hungry ghost realms, or in the animal realms, one will experience great sufferings of heat and cold, sufferings of hunger and thirst, as well as various different kinds of suffering that is extremely unbearable, would be extremely unbearable for us. So therefore, one needs to remember the sufferings of the lower realms and generate fear towards such a form of rebirth. Yes.
Ninguém só que tomar essa ideia tem porque他人不觉得有的，真的蛮严吧。俺就谈到我人是他我用过不是这我怕当呢从我嘛都会人呐你喜欢吧？你喜欢呐你他眼上个东西用过要查的了嘞，真的人的我朋友从但真的这个嘛都巴鲁没得去。眼上东西真的也没得，人家他真的个那眼上个东西我用过他们这把的秋天个眼上个东西的用贵重啦，你人家说个话，真的人的你带的就被夹起，是这个呀，夹的样人家这边吧，容易用高等精等个高位动个精等个的这个잡고没有的，因为잡所以把的他工作上困难一码的，但是因为呢工作上啦年头把的一起别过呢，带的这边的话要把一起别过呢，那老给话人呐工作个没就把没事把人。
So, there's a point in time remembering the sufferings of the lower realms, then we should realize that the suffering of the lower realms is actually not something that is very far away from our present situation. Actually, right now, what keeps us from the lower realms is our remaining breath. Every exhalation, inhalation, this process, this breathing process, is what stands between us and the lower realms. If we are to exhale and unable to inhale again, unable to inhale immediately after exhalation, then this breath stops, and that's when death occurs. And then the sufferings of the lower realms will materialize. So therefore, what stands between us and the suffering of the lower realms is nothing but just this simple process of breathing. And if this breath would come to stop, then the lower realms would appear. So if one were to be born in the lower realms, then one would need to experience the sufferings. One would be experiencing the sufferings in the lower realms, and that would be extremely unbearable if you were to think about it. So therefore, one needs to find a reliable source of refuge that can protect us from such states of rebirth. And therefore, the object of refuge should not be something that is similar to us in the sense of being bound within the sufferings of cyclic existence. If we find something like that as our source of refuge, then that refuge should not be reliable in the sense that it would not be able to protect us from the sufferings of the lower realms. So only the three jewels, which are free from such cyclic existence bondage, would be able to protect us. Therefore, by remembering the qualities of the three jewels and if one were to have faith towards the three jewels and their ability to protect us, and to sincerely practice going for refuge to the three jewels, there is absolutely no suffering that the three jewels cannot protect us from. Yes.
임바레 근데 연도에다 고변 낸데레 네 탑에 탑지 제거 임바레 일단 고변 낸데레 탑에 탑제야게 그래다 땡땡요 난난 매일 뉴데 그래. 단 네톤에 네 로고야지. 이 말에 대용한다. 이 말에 그 고베 자와 조제지 년봉의 남에도 비시럽 시럽지 나빠지. 네 대대 네 등인지 대 줘서 네 수름지 나봐. 근데는 남 나빠서 냠서노 고야 이 말이다.
So, at this point in time, when one has gone for refuge, then one should not be satisfied with not being falling to lower realms or achieving a higher rebirth. Rather, one should realize that wherever one is born within cyclic existence, there's absolutely no true happiness or true pleasure. So therefore, oneself being realizing that oneself is caught in samsara, one should strive to practice the various methods for achieving liberation from such a state of cyclic existence. And therefore, oneself in samsara, in this situation, now having achieved this precious human rebirth, one should strive to achieve liberation on the basis of this human rebirth. One should use this human rebirth to practice the various methods to achieve liberation. So the primary cause for liberation is that which is the antidote to the root of cyclic existence, and the antidote is the wisdom realizing emptiness. So that's the actual method itself. And then one needs to, the basis for achieving that is the single-pointed concentration, and the method of gathering the various conducive conditions or causes for achieving such meditative or single-pointed concentration is the practice of morality or ethics. Therefore, these three ethics, concentration, and wisdom, these three constitute the practice of the three higher trainings, and which is what we should cultivate in order to achieve liberation from psychic existence. Yes.
이 말이다. 남나바송나 라바이나 남네 네 로니 고회동을 달바 레다 달베 고모 돕도게 요래 이나요 정주지 선님 마젠바 이나 네 손지 고모 돕도게 매야래 인다 손지 고모세야도 마도바 이나 레 롱게 동도 용 탈선바 용게 말에 네 현재 동요 돕도게 말에 인다 롱지 닝게 동도 네 손지 고모 돕고 요래 근데 현재다 이 말에 대단한 도마 심지어 동아지 나와라 메소비 닌제다 대화도 된도지 잠비 좀비 거네 그래는 심지 동아지고도 대제발라 단단 누바면도 누바선이나 손지 공모의 요비 나가 마선제 담지도 손지 공모 도바 자오 냠비 네 중주지 셈 네다 주마 된지지.
So, in this point in time, if one practices the three higher trainings, one is able to achieve a state of liberation for oneself. One is able to free oneself from suffering of cyclic existence. But however, if one's practice is not bound by the mind of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, one is unable to achieve Buddhahood. And if one does not achieve Buddhahood, then one is unable to complete the works for oneself, self-benefit, and one is unable to accomplish the works of benefiting others. So the benefits of self and others, both these two cannot be accomplished if one does not achieve Buddhahood. So therefore, in order to accomplish complete the purposes of oneself and others, one needs to strive to achieve the state of Buddhahood. And in order to achieve that, one needs to meditate upon the unbearable, how unbearable it is to think of the suffering. One needs to meditate upon the suffering of sentient beings and to generate compassionate thought, thinking it unbearable that sentient beings have to experience sufferings. And also one needs to generate the thought of loving kindness, wishing sentient beings to achieve happiness. Therefore, with these two thoughts, then one realizes that one generates the desire or the intention to actually bring about such a state where sentient beings are actually totally free from suffering and achieve very happiness. And one realizes that in one's current position or status, one is unable to do that. So only the state of a Buddha, only when one has achieved a state of Buddhahood can one actually do that. So therefore, one strives to achieve Buddhahood in order to benefit sentient beings. And so therefore, one generates the thought of bodhicitta in such a way with actual effort. Yes.
다 된다라 공부 전에 손지의 공부 조고 요래 인도다 대답에 손지의 공부 더 봐. 자원념배 그노 넘버다 봐지 세 담네 셈버쇼스.
Yes. So it is not sufficient to, in order to attain Buddhahood, it is not sufficient to only generate the enlightened intention, the thought of wanting to achieve Buddhahood to benefit sentient beings, but also one needs to engage in the practice of the bodhisattvas. So there are many practices of the bodhisattvas, bodhisattva path, but in general they are collected into the practices of the 6 perfections, or the 6 paramitas, as well as the 4 ways of gathering. So therefore, by cultivating these practices, this is the only way that one can achieve the state of Buddhahood. So then, therefore, one needs to develop this form of motivation of wishing to achieve Buddhahood to benefit others, and listen to the teachings in such a way. Yes. So one needs to practice the 6 perfections as a method for ripening oneself, and also the practices of the 4 ways of gathering in order to ripen others. Yes.
인물다 그래다 주세야 대형 단다 가서 그래다 나기 조방에 비해서 주진 매너산 돈네 일을 동아랍지도 안에 줄여 초반적으로서 수다스 부세야 자sen 나와도 쉬어야 말이야. 인도 된 노진 전에 추년 연도거나 추된 매너에서 놓지. 다 추게 매너게 놓는데 네 랑게 그게 좁아도 간데도 좁아야 아니야 간데 용도. 다 매너는 안에 바다 연도 농게 잡아 요나 근데 잡아도 봐세 거야. 인도 된 노진지 근데 추년 연도 갑라 랑 추된 매너다 그지. 랑게 좁아도 다 예에서 놓지. 아니 저방에 바쁘게 동게 잡고서 놓나 아니 대파 세 거야. 되는 말이.
Yes. So then, as in the verse that was mentioned by the Bodhisattva Dawasangpo, then it said that the Dharma is like, compared to a mirror, a clear mirror, which reflects upon one's form, which refers to one's actions. So one's actions are like a form, one's physical form that is reflected in the mirror, and therefore, when one's form is reflected in the mirror, one can see if there's filth or dirt on one's face, and then one can actually go about clearing away or cleaning that dirt away from one's face. And therefore, the Dharma is likened to a mirror, a clear mirror that can reflect all of our actions. So our actions are like a physical body, which are reflected within the mirror of the Dharma. And when one reflects one's actions upon the mirror of Dharma, one can see if there are negativities or faults in our actions. And then upon clearly seeing and recognizing these faults, then we go about actually clearing away all these faults of our actions, our negative actions. Yes.
인말에 제도한다 주니에서 야대요 그게 롱게 주 도야다 임버다 냠내게 제도네 쇼고야 제다 자게 여러와 니 나용다 주전다다 근데 종조 나오는 니 만다래 근데 주전 연다 년에네 주제 코치 주제 주지메 돌아서네 배 주는 시자데 주요 삼박선오지 라네 마타와이나 대 주제 코르스다 주게 배면도 같이 자용이 요래 다 주전다게 주제 코가 있나요 근데 종조 나오는 때네 근데 봐 주토야 된다지 말에 다 종조 나오는 주제 코가 있나 근데 다 제단 말에 라디도 봐봐세요 된다 자게 요소하네 인도는 삽섭진네 생각고요
If one becomes thick skull with the other teachings, other teachings, then still can be subdue the mind by hearing Lamrim teachings. But if you become thick skull with the Lamrim teaching, then there is nothing there to benefit the mind.
Yes. So Rinpoche says that if one becomes thick skull,
stubborn or thick skull.
Yeah, one thinks that one takes the Lamrim in a very intellectual way. When one listens to the Lamrim, rather than applying the teachings of the Lamrim to one's mind, but rather one think instead of doing that, then one takes the Lamrim in a very intellectual approach, thinking, oh, I've known this. Whatever Lama says, then whatever as Lama goes through the various contents of the Lamrim, and one goes about thinking, oh, I know this already, oh, I know that already. So one keeps it in a very intellectual level and becomes a very thick skull, as Rinpoche says. And then the Lamrim would not be of any benefit to such a person. Generally, if a sentient being has various different delusions and so forth, the Lamrim is able to subdue the sentient beings, the delusions within that sentient being's mind. But the Lamrim is unable to subdue those who are thick-skulled. For people who take it on a very intellectual level and do not apply it to practice, become sort of like arrogant or complacent with the mere knowledge and intellectual knowledge of the Lamrim.
주전주 남녀를 마셔야 되는 단다 남녀들 나눠 요다노 이제 성럽군지 님보도도와 천내 톤에도 년배죠 담진치도 배영도 납진 두방이 비대동 삼 말이다 성럽 탐제지 님보 내놓는 되지요래 성럽 탐제지 님보 되지요 인데 내는 전예제와 있나 그래다 성럽 탐제지 님보 뇌내는 전예제가 아닌데 솔라버지 사기요래서 얘네는 된다게는 대동 삼 인자 된다게는 그게 솔라버지 두요비 돈다도 삼지 이 거로도 된베고네 생각고요
So then, in the text, it also mentions the benefit of the Lamrim teachings being the collective essence of all the teachings, all the Buddhist teachings. So, since the Lamrim it collects or is a collection of all the essences of the teachings, therefore, by teaching, by giving such a form of teaching and listening to such a form of teaching, one is actually giving or listening to the entirety of all the Buddhist teachings. And therefore, in this process, one is able to accumulate vast amounts of merits or accumulations. So therefore, by thinking, remembering such a form of benefit, one should listen to these teachings with a very extremely joyful mind. Thus.
그래다 주 남랑에는 참 잠들고 그래다 잠들고 내려오래 근데 잠로대다 단다 요건한테 잡선로와 아니 요건한 잡선로와 이말 재산 이제 잡서 손에 저 아니 잡서 손에 라브자 하셨네 그래다 단다 그래 마틴 하나네 잠도 평용어서 야지 삽지 소도 여러 가지 다는데 랍지 노나 네 평용데 되지 다 삽지 시지 송이 버려.
Yes. So,
요거나 되는 접선 로와 요거나 접선 로와 제zam지 접선 송이 sol 근데 접선 송이 랍지 아스네 이제지
So therefore, the teachings of Lan Lamrim, we've come to the section on refuge. If you have the root text, it's on page 182. And so within this section of refuge, then there are four major themes. The first theme talks about the causes of refuge, causes of going for refuge. And the second talks about the objects of refuge. And the third talks about the way of going for refuge. And the fourth talks about the practices relating to the going of refuge. Yes. Sorry, the precepts of refuge. Yes.
집에 중의 잠로 제외이나 로니 ngensong 동안은 저기 잡에 놓지 근데 대리접에 바꾼 저는 여봐 이 집에 대봐 대라되네 제거야지 나 집은 랭이 잠로 제외이나 아니 그러니 ngensong 집어만 봐 고바도 ngensong의 동안에 이제 잡에 놓 대리접에 바꾼 저는 여봐 이 집에 대봐 주님 뭐 어떤 이제 송구요래 나 집에 전부 제외나 아니 라제 semje 탐제 고와동에서 동안에 예지잡에 놓지 텔레접에 누가 군조도요가 이 집에 대봐 준면화 같은데 저게 아니 집에 중의 잠로 랭의 잠로 전부 잠로서 자기 와지.
So when one goes to refuge to the three jewels, then there are the two primary causes of going for refuge. One is that of fear of suffering, and then the second is that of faith in the ability of three jewels to protect us from suffering. So with regards to the first one, the fear of suffering, then these are divided into three categories. The first one is that of the refuge pertaining to beings practitioners of the smaller scope, and when for these beings, when they go for refuge to three jewels, the primary fear is that of rebirth in the lower realms. And so, with this fear of rebirth in the lower realms, then having faith in the ability of the three jewels to protect them from such fear, and they go for refuge. So this constitutes the refuge of the beings of the smaller scope. And with regards to beings of practitioners of the middling scope, then they their fear is primarily that of not only the lower realms, but also of the sufferings, the general sufferings of cyclic existence. So with fear of these two forms of suffering, then one goes for refuge to three jewels with the faith that the three jewels possess the ability to protect us from such suffering. And then on top of that, this is the practice of the middling scope. Then with regards to practice of refuge of beings pertaining to the highest scope, then one goes to refuge to three jewels with the fear of suffering of all entire cyclic existence, not only of oneself, but also that of all other sentient beings. So with this kind of fear, then one goes for refuge to three jewels with the faith in their ability to protect us from such sufferings. So this is a practice of refuge of the highest scope. So in this case, here we mentioned the practice of refuge pertaining to the three different levels, that of the beings of the smaller scope or the lower scope, and beings of the middling scope, as well as the beings of the highest scope. No.
다 손제 군조 조군조 겐도 군조 다 손제 군조데 잡수 의바 잡수 의비 좀 내가래서나 로니 지관 하다를 줘봐 yin 지관 줘봐 살다 개봐 근데 이제 좀 뭐냐면 봐 주고 팬다마다 탐지지 돈제 봐 근데 잡수 송환이나 근데 몇주 몇시 봐 의비 좀제 총대요래 다 손제 군조데 잡수 의비 좀제 근데 총대요 아닌데 말에 아니 대답을 손제대 주념선은 뭐다 총 대형 견디 그냥서 노는 총바인데 근데 주도 견디요 단다 근데 잡수 의바니스
So then we come to the second theme, which is the objects of refuge. So then when one possesses the two causes of refuge, then on the basis of that, then one practices refuge towards the objects of refuge, which are the three jewels, that of the Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel, and the Sangha jewel. So when one goes for refuge to the firstly to the Buddha jewel, that is because the Buddha is a fitting or worthy object of our refuge. And therefore, because the Buddha has freed itself from all sufferings, entirely sufferings of oneself, the fear or suffering of fears of oneself. The Buddha has freed itself from its own fears, as well as is able to free others from their fears as well. So also the Buddha possesses great compassion that is without any discrimination between those that are close or distant, without any discrimination of whether beings are intimate or close to the Buddha or not. So therefore, the Buddha has this kind of compassion that has no discrimination, and therefore, when the Buddha is fitting object of refuge, and definitely can protect those who take refuge in the Buddha. So therefore, with this understanding, then one also goes for refuge to the Dharma jewel, which are the teachings given by the Buddha. And one also goes for refuge to the Sangha jewel, which are those who practice the Buddha's teachings. So in this way, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha jewel are our objects of refuge. Yes.
아니다. 삼제선바 제삼제 접수선 저러서야 되나 연대 시비권의 접선로 제발 시비권의 접선로 개놈비권의 접선로 신놈만권의 접선로 와서 예협이 나오게 동보 다 연대 시비권의 접선로 와서야 대체 다 연대 시비권의 접선로 와라 원안에 군족의 연대 시국이 와지 대란의 선지 군족의 연대 주군족 연대 견대 군족의 연대 이제 소미협에 너네 단다 손재의 연대 갑치 손재 연대 대라요 거의 연대 성의 연대 토지 연대 천년 연대에서 예협에 나오게다 나니다 거의 연대 다 쉬었단 말이야 단단한데 다 성의 연대 참대 그래.
So then with regards to having to going for refuge, then we come to the third theme, which is how to go for refuge, how one goes for refuge. And in this practice, and this is again divided into four sections or four themes. And here, the first one is going for refuge by knowing the good qualities. The second is going for refuge by knowing the distinctions. And third is going for refuge through commitment. And fourth is going for refuge by refusing to acknowledge other refuges. So therefore, within this four, then we are still at the first one, which is going for refuge by knowing the good qualities. And this is, within that one, talks about the qualities of the three jewels, that the qualities of the Buddha jewel, the qualities of Dharma jewel, the qualities of the Sangha jewel. And within that, we are the first one, which is talking about the qualities of the Buddha jewel. And with regards to that, there are the qualities of the holy body, the qualities of the holy speech, and the qualities of the holy mind, as well as the qualities of the activities, enlightened activities. So within these four, last teaching, we had covered up to the point of the qualities of the Buddha's holy body. And now this year we start with teachings on the section of qualities of the Buddha's speech. Yes.
고연된 답을 나타나 천에서 뭐 숨지자니 배제서 뭐 제조해야지 송바로와 인도벽에 다 라니 집에 담아 손발 제비 네 제스 이 말에 다 된다게 그 예용도 거나 예도 만나와 저게 당생에서는 어떤데 저게 그래다 숨지손이 제숨손이다 배제 제조해서 이제 대형다 집에다 막 손발 제비 배제하기서는 이 말에 배제 이제 조원 총야대 선수 무슨 잔이게 총기요래 근데 배제 제조대 뒤에 코르다베 차들이요래 된다게네 고해요네 요대야지 대형은 고도주비 잡보다 롱 손제 나요 진tum바다 용게 요래데 다 손제 좀 되는 논신게 그게 세보다 용수 조바다 된대 용매야 이 말이야.
So, therefore, firstly, we talk about the Buddha's qualities of Buddha's body, which is on page 181. And this section here, then we talk about Buddha's body being perfect in the sense of possessing the 32 major signs and 80 minor marks of a great being. So therefore, the Buddha, being a great being, possesses all these various signs and marks on the body as a sign of a perfect being or a holy being. So therefore, then there are these various signs on the physical body of the Buddha. So when one sees the physical body of the Buddha, one sees these various signs and marks. The Buddha's physical body appearing with all these various signs and marks, and these are like adornments of the Buddha's body, in the sense that these three they are signs of a holy being. Presence of holy being. So then the major signs are the 32 signs, and the 80 minor marks are like the entourage, like the entourage of the major signs. So therefore, so the Buddha's physical body is adorned by such signs and marks. And also it is said that the Pratika Buddhas, or the solitary realizers, as well as the wheel-turning kings, the universal monarchs, also possess these signs and marks. However, it is said that their signs and marks are not as clear and not as perfect as those appearing in the Buddha's body. Yes.
다 송계용데 송계용데네 이제는 감지 심진 강요지 되지도 저만라와 고나래는 제장 심지 기지 지도는 시럽지 송네 송지게 저바담지 낸제지 대남지죠 롱롱게 깨도 고관 줘봐 신도 매도 좀 저 임벌 선바대에서 임벌다 손에 좀 낸데나 이제는 감지 심진 다 처음에 봐지 용기로 나 처음에 봐 되게 근데 처음에 봐 처음에 봤던데 야 쉬비나 손이 좀 낸게 나나 침배 깨지지게 대형벽에 남지 고령에서는 된대지 마고 대형벽에 깨지면 저게 강가 토스주 토스주는 손에마 내종야 되나요 근데 레레레 시대 먹고 왔지 송지게 손지게 송지게 마내 탐지 저바 탐지지 내 이제 여기 와 말이야 내 이제 대형 다 깨리면아 요등에 이나 아니 롱롱게 깨 간지이나 뒤에도 고유야 이마다 된데 네 신도 매도 좀 원사가 다 손제도 마도 매되게 된게 제주도 삼고 요래서
Yes. So then one looks at the in the root text, page 182. The middle of the page, it talks about the good qualities of Buddha's speech. And here, this Rinpoche read from this section, this paragraph, and explained that for all the various sentient beings, all of them who listen to the Buddha, they possess countless different kinds of dispositions. So their mental dispositions are all of incredible numbers of variety. So they're very, very, very different from each other. And however, the Buddha is able to, with his incredible wisdom, the Buddha is able to know instantly, instantaneously, in one very moment, at the same time, simultaneously comprehend or understand the various dispositions of each sentient being, the doubts in their minds, their questions, and so forth. So then, when the Buddha replies or Buddha says a reply to all these sentient beings, there is no need for the Buddha to reply to each and every one of them individually. The Buddha only needs to say one word, and with that one word, Buddha is able to reply to every question in each and every different type of sentient beings, with regards to their queries. So then, even though these various sentient beings may be of different lingual backgrounds, they may understand they may need to understand. They may each speak a different language. However, when the Buddha, just by merely mentioning one word, then each sentient being is able to understand that answer within the scope of their own language, of a language that they're able to understand. So such an incredible quality of the holy speech is said to be possessed only by the Buddha. The Buddha possesses such marvelous quality of speech, whereby is able to understand all sentient beings simultaneously, and through one word, able to reply to all their queries with them, each and every sentient being of various dispositions and lingual backgrounds, understanding the answer within the scope of their own language and their own mental capacity. Yes. So then also the other aspect of this marvelous speech is that even though within the audience itself, the various beings have such a huge variety of mental dispositions, then they also, each and every one of them may possess like different questions to ask the Buddha. And all these very huge varieties of knowledge instantaneously understood within the Buddha's holy mind, because the Buddha has abandoned all obscurations to knowing, obscurations to knowledge. Therefore, the Buddha possesses omniscience. And with this omniscience, the Buddha is able, because the obscurations have been completely removed or abandoned, so therefore the Buddha is able to know all these objects of knowledge simultaneously. And through this quality of omniscience, then the Buddha is able to understand each and every sentient being's questions arising within their individual minds simultaneously. So then, for example, if if someone was to ask a question pertaining to impermanence, then one needs
to understand in 1 second.
Yes. The Buddha is able to understand in 1 second.
Buddha's holy mind understand in 1 second all the different questions.
Yes. So the Buddha's holy mind understands all the questions in 1 instance, 1 second. So then also, if there are questions pertaining to impermanence, then normally one would need the effort, would exert the effort or have the intention to reply to that question regarding impermanence separately. And if another person in the audience were to have questions pertaining to emptiness, then normally the teacher would have the intention to, or apply the effort to reply to that question regarding emptiness. However, for the Buddha's, for the side of the Buddha, because of the Buddha has this quality whereby it does not need, it's totally effortless, and without any intentional, any effortful intention. Therefore, the Buddha is able to understand not only sentient beings' questions simultaneously. The Buddha is able to answer all their questions simultaneously through one word, through one answer.
이 말이다. 손제의 거는 또 받은 매주매야지. 매야인데 두자로 그 가른 년도도 하나는 된 암조 고용 요인인데 그래다 개박하지 그래다 집 단다 손제 송세야 돼. 두지시바 잔노와 잠레스. 근데 인자 두지주지 두바레스야 순이 용게요래. 이다 두지주지 두바다 말아봤대. 이나요 두자로는 게 시바다 단 노용게요래.
The Buddha's mind is not possessed by the sentient. Some people say the Buddha's mind is possessed by the sentient mind, but not quite like that. But it has appeared to the sentient beings who are object were subdued.
말다데 염진에 대해서 다वे요. 내가 지금 와 이 말에 근데 좀 내게 송윤도 거나다 근데 염제반에 농경에 남제는 제바 단다 보디 중요요 된게 제바 된데 거용 여러 단다 렌섬에 농에 되게 근데 니제 이 말에 다 보디 좀 된데 거기요지 다 누반에 농경에 근데 제동 봐 염두바 보디 지지와 그래서 손제 송윤도 다 지스 송이 말 근데 두자로는 게 제바 건도도 제바 렌 건도니데 렌 두바 건도니데 두바 텐데스네 고용이요래 이다 대노지 제도는 저바지게 렌강가 고톱스야 되다 지와 차용도 봐.
So therefore, in regards to the different mental capacities of the different disciples or the objects to be tamed, then when they listen to the Buddha's holy speech, then they hear different teachings pertaining to their mental capacities. For example, when the Buddha taught the perfection of wisdom, then for those beings who had greater capacity, and then they heard the teaching as the teachings of the most extensive perfection of wisdom teachings, those of what we call the 12 volumes, the 12 volumes of the Prajnaparamita. Then for those beings who had a middling capacity, then when they heard the Buddha teaching perfection of wisdom, they heard only those of the what they call the 20,000 verses, the Nichi, or the Prajnaparamita, 20,000 verses. That's their what they heard. And for those beings of the smaller or lesser capacity, then they heard the teachings of what they call the 8,000 verses, the Gedongba, the 8,000 verses Prajnaparamita. So therefore, the Buddha's speech occurs simultaneously, but however, each being is able to hear the teaching pertaining to their level of mental capacity. Yes.
이 말이다. 매주에서 선바데 nem밥을 내외래서 나단다 내달 샘지 건지 예비스 몸보다게 되지 쉬쉬나 샘지 끼지지라 토주네 소용적인 소설 내전 대비스 때 단다 돈다 고는 로차가 송화다 되지 대답에 난 전반지 되나 선비 소용 선배 자연성으로 챔버서 이 말이다 단다 손제 송게 용대나 소용 연락 주주 잡지 소용한다 주주 소용한다 주주 잡지 소용 된데 용요래 나 소용 주주 잡지 대노나는 상비 용다 버스 송요래 근데 대답에는 전반지 때나 처음에 장용 송정 전반도 김세 공원도에 들어가면서 가서 지나요. 오늘 송내 지게 랜드 반세 김세 대비나 다 총비 총비 용어서야 된전반도 송임을 총비 용도 받은 전반도
So then, then we look at the verses here mentioned in the text where it says the chapter of the truth speaker says, it is like this: if all living beings simultaneously ask questions using many different expressions, he understands them in a single moment, and with a single utterance gives answers to each. So this paragraph talks about the qualities of the Buddha's speech mentioned before, in the sense that Buddha is able to understand simultaneously all the different sentient beings' questions and able to answer them simultaneously with just one single utterance. And then the next verse talks about the Buddha's, further mentions about Buddha's holy speech. Therefore know that in the world the leader knows how to be eloquent. So here in the text, in the Tibetan words, it mentions something like the perfect speech of the Buddha possessing the 64 types of qualities. So the Buddha's holy speech is not only it's not only marvelous in that it can answer all beings' questions within a single utterance, but also is very eloquent and very melodious compared to that of Brahma's voice. So this translation of this Brahma-like voice has two translations. One translation is that of Brahma-like voice, and the other translation is that of like a perfect or eloquent voice, which possesses the 64 types of qualities. So the Buddha's holy speech is not only marvelous, it's also melodious and eloquent. So this is another quality of the Buddha's holy speech. Yes.
단 렘바스 손이 좀 내네. 되네. 3일 동안 타진비 주인콜로라도 고반제에서 다 손이 좀 내게 주인콜로 고용도 다 주 간리제 송반이 있나요? 도전 양해는데 봐 톱이 탑서 송바 샤다 이 말에. 그냥 양해는데 봐서 다 너가 톱이 제도 송바. 대여다 3일 동안 알아서네 3일 쪼어송자 송바마도 로아를 두개 동안 다른지 봐. 다 째는지 봐. 그 제도는 주인콜로 고요래서 송이 말.
So therefore, the Buddha here says the leader, the leader or the guide or the leader turns the wheel of teaching that eradicates the suffering of deities and humans, or gods and humans. So here, the Buddha, when the Buddha turns the wheel of the Dharma teachings, then it's the teachings are meant to lead. The teachings are able to lead all the objects to be subdued, which are the disciples. Humans and gods and beings of the six realms, leading them out of suffering towards the state of emancipation or nirvana. So therefore, the Buddhist teachings are able to guide all beings away from suffering, liberate them from suffering. Yes.
그래, 난 거기 동안 영향을 짜와대 단지 말해봐도 더 되게 어리. 그래서 단지 말해봐서 해야 돼. 째는지 말해봐라 돈이 더 그게 어리. 근데 현재 좀 내는 주 간리제 송반이 있나요? 돈이 또 탑스 송반 샤다 아니 말에. 근데 돈이 또 탑스 송해야 돼요. 단 고비스 자와 단지 말해봐 인자 대본 비치도서. 근데 현재 돈이 또 탑스 송반 샤다. 대연의 시완 영향인데 봐 또 탑스 송반 샤다레스. 다다 이제 뭐지네. 조지진에 가서 봤던 일을 삼는죠. 대연양엔 다시 시점문제 초라 매스. 이제 댄들을 삼는데 돈이 또 betap스 마샤다레. 대연에 시완용된 또 betap스 유반 멤버지 조지송의 말에서 송말.
So therefore, all of Buddha's teachings are referring to, are actually means to liberate sentient beings from sufferings. Because the suffering of cyclic existence has its root within the ignorance of clinging to a truly existent self, clinging to a truly existent self, and the antidote to that is the wisdom realizing emptiness. So therefore, all the Buddhist teachings are actually means to are methods pointing out to the ways to achieve the wisdom realizing emptiness in order to free all sentient beings from suffering, because the root of suffering is the ignorance clinging to the self, inherently existing self. Therefore, all the Buddhist teachings are actually pointing out to the wisdom of emptiness, because that is the antidote to the root of cyclic existence. So therefore, all the Buddhist teachings are also, directly and indirectly, the means for achieving the state of peace, of emancipation, or nirvana. And therefore, as mentioned in Lama Tsongkhapa's writings, those of the Buddhists teach through the Buddha through teaching about dependent arising is actually teaching about emptiness, and also teaching about the means of achieving the peace of nirvana. Yes. So then here further on in the text it says, it quotes from the praise in 150 verses. So bottom page 182 it says, "Your face is so captivating. Listening to your pleasant speech is like seeing nectar flow from the moon." So here when we talk about the Buddha's holy face, this is said to be so extremely beautiful and very captivating to the mind. And the holy speech is extremely melodious and eloquent, and hence very pleasant to hear. And so then the Buddha's holy face is also compared to an open lotus. When a lotus flower opens in full bloom, then all the bees who are in search of nectar are naturally drawn towards it. So the Buddha's holy face is so captivating that it is able to draw sentient beings, draw for sentient beings, and who, if we were to see the actual Buddha's face, would find so captivating that we actually never tire of looking upon this object of beauty, the Buddha's holy face. Then the Buddha's holy speech is said to be so pleasant to hear from that it is able to ease the suffering or to soothe the sufferings of delusions. And so the analogy of that is if a person is suffering from feverish maladies, then when the moon rises and the rays of the moon are said to have a cooling effect or a sensation that is able to soothe the sufferings of those with feverish maladies. So therefore the Buddha's holy speech is so melodious and so eloquent that upon hearing it, this is like the moon's cooling light rays, in that it is able to soothe the sufferings, the feverish sufferings of the mental afflictions. Yes.
이 말이다. 나 소용 연락 주죠. 너나 소용 년바든 잠바다. 예동하다 예든 대바서야. 근데 지금 먼저 제일 먼저 거는 송이요래. 단단히 소용 년배 용대 되라. 현다 개념 보는 것인데 투윤도 거나 현다이나 대라되는 자과제용이야. 근데 용요래 때좀 내는 송년바 현의 먼저 년바 용나 용 투윤도 네 용문배 동화 시반적이 요래서 송요.
So the Buddha's holy speech is said to possess different kinds of qualities, such as those of being melodious, being soft, being agreeable to one's mind, and also captivating. So, and so forth. So therefore, the Buddha's holy speech possesses such incredible qualities. And in general, when we hear a very pleasant voice, then the normal response is to generate attachment towards that pleasant sound. However, the Buddha's speech is said to be so pleasant and even far surpasses and so different, so unique, so different from other pleasant sounds. However, the more one hears it, listens to the Buddha's holy speech, not only does it not give rise to attachment, it simultaneously pacifies various mental delusions such as attachment and so forth.
좀 내는 송 로게 장용의 송바 된저 송바래 단 로자서야 돼 자진 단지 세진 농동게 된데게 고윤도 권한의 신호제야 그래서는 된데 연구 여러 단 로자다면 사모 요나요 좀 내는 송대로 되는 연지과 지금 말해서 내가 지그래서 송바.
So then the Buddha's speech is also to be very magnificent, just like the sound of the dragon, or this is also a poetic description of thunder, like thunder or a dragon's roar. So the dragon's roar is so majestic or magnificent that it is able to subdue or cause fear within all the other, to those who hear it. However, the Buddha's holy speech, even though possessing such magnificence or majesty, however, the Buddha's holy speech does not generate fear of his sentient beings, but causes them to, it soothes them of their suffering of fear. It does not generate fear within sentient beings. Yes.
이말다 초제 손은 도차제 두렵 신지 차진다. 일단 내내마 그래다 도자게 연말 제발라 도자게 돌때 연말 제발라 니 차진은 나와 있어. 다돌 텔라 논데야데 니 차진 차바밥 차진의 차바밥인데 니 돌만 인자로 그러와. 내가 노시네 도자게 도시만 대발라 차진은 나와도 소이.
Yes. And until page 183, it says, "Your speech, like a rain cloud, settles the dust of attachment." So therefore, here the analogy of attachment is that of dust, like dust particles. So one has a lot of dust around that region, then one is very prone to like sandstorms and so forth. Then, so when the rains come and descend upon that region, then that settles the dust by sticking them together, whatever we call it. So it settles the dust. So therefore, the Buddha's holy speech has the quality of pacifying attachment, just like a rain cloud. Arrival and descent of rain from a rain cloud has the ability to settle the loose particles of dust. Yes.
drugeson hoje da drude pa yungwa chungwa re da de la jeda jayun de yungwa se pa yungya la namga de non da da namga de se ya da ja dru sa ni jing yo ro 되게 druge ni mo jing ba ji de ga no ye ne xie dong jie yun de gong ne xie dong xie ba jie ba la re da 제동의 주의도 시와제발라 남가 되는 거 남성 점도니 된다래서
So therefore, then the next verse says, like the Garuda, it expels the snake of hostility. So here, the analogy of snake is that attributed to that of the delusion of anger or hostility. If one here, when there are snakes, then one can expel them with the presence of this mythical creature called the Garuda. It is said to be the mortal enemy of snakes. It grabs snakes and tears them apart. So it sounds like our eagle, perhaps, but it's like a mythical bird. So the appearance of this Garuda is able to expel or remove the afflictions of snakes. Therefore, the holy speech of the Buddha, just like the Garuda expels the snakes, the holy speech of the Buddha is able to pacify the suffering of hostility or anger. Yes.
Yanda mishibe rarin jumbe dodon ras. Ande mishiba temo mariba la so himare. Da temo mariba rabrib seta chimna ge sono. Rabrib tende ba jombar chebala dodon ras. Da do sayande nima koya himare. Tanda. Da nima shayunde begin 나고게 소노 라브르게 요새 강가 좀로 그러와 대노시에는 미시베만 좀봐 제발라 니마샤와도 나와 그래서 도도다.
Yes. Then the next lines go again and again is like a sun dispelling the darkness of ignorance. So here the sun is said to be is analogy of the Buddha's holy speech again, and ignorance is a given analogy of darkness. So here, when the sun, which is the source of all light, it rises, then it is able to dispel all obscurations of darkness and all shadows and so forth. And therefore, here the Buddha's holy speech is likened to that of the sun dispelling darkness, and here is able to remove or dispel all the darkness and all the shadows of ignorance. Yes.
다 노자 셰도 때문 좀 봐봐. 좀 말해봐. 일단 다 노자도 셰도의 님이 된데 때문에 거네 셰야체야다. 아니 때문 거기 주란지 라도 남지지 시럽지 대제비 거네 좀 봐봐. 이 말에.
Yes. So here the birth three stanzas that it mentions about the Buddha's holy speech destroying the three roots, delusions of attachment, anger, and ignorance. So therefore, the Buddha's holy speech has the ability to destroy all these three delusions by hearing it. Because through the Buddha's holy speech, one is able to join the wisdom of emptiness, which in turn destroys these three delusions. Yes.
이말다 나자르 원원좀베 도제 타용라발라스. 이말다 나자제르 워다 나자 스데다 심 통보진네 켄윤이 제는 나자스기 요르와 예자르 소로르 통보선로 된 좀버 제발라 도제 타용라발라 소르 도제 일단 도제 세한데 단다 자진게 사용부 자진게 라고도 요등에 도제 세야지 요르와 일단 도제 단다 도제 생각다 세대야 되는 멤버래 일단 그놈에게 사진 제바 방우보다 좀 통해 철로 놓으면 이렇게 정성 현동세야지 신로도 권한은 그런 거 루바도 도제다고 진질럽 샤이스 다때 자생이 라고도 요새가 그래 일단 먼저 tenju 제나네 뭐만이나 레강가 공부요레스 로드게 요레스 렌로데 요인도 레데게네 로인도가 semjemon보다 높아지게 요레스 근데 자생이 도제슈네 근데 레 공부자 근데 자생이 렌좀 봐서네 먼저도 용게요레 근데 단다 대다 자체네 맞아요 원원좀비 도제도 용다와나 세송이
So then the next line says, since it raises the mountain of pride, it is also like the Vajra. So here, the mountain of pride is the mountain is an analogy of pride, because pride is a sense of inflated sense of self-value. So this kind of pride or this kind of delusion is similar to like a mountain. And here the Vajra here is said to be like the weapon that is held in the hands of the king of the gods, Indra. So here it was not referring to the five-spoke Vajra, but it's that Vajra that's held in Indra's hand. And the Vajra here refers to the quality of that which is like hard and extremely solid. And the Vajra has the ability to destroy other objects, but yet cannot be eliminated itself. It cannot be destroyed by others, but it can destroy other objects. And so why they talk about Vajras destroying mountains? Because there's a legend that in ancient times all mountains had legs, and they used to walk around and trample on sentient beings. And so therefore Indra used his weapon, his Vajra, and he broke all their legs, and hence the mountains remained still. And then they could not harm other sentient beings again. So therefore, here the analogy is that the Vajra, the Buddha's holy speech, being like a Vajra, able to raise or destroy the mountain of pride. Yes. Yes. So when a being has great pride, and upon hearing the Buddha's teachings, those of the extensive teachings and as well as the profound teachings, then one is able to destroys a person's inflated sense of self or pride, and therefore in this way the Buddha's speech is able to tame or destroy the pride of deluded sentient beings. Yes. So then the next verse says, because you see the truth, your speech never misleads. So the Buddha's speech is never deceptive nor misleading, and it is without error, because the Buddha's holy mind sees all sentient beings' minds exactly as they are, So therefore, the Buddha is able to whatever the Buddha says to sentient beings is never misleading, is never erroneous. Yes. So then the next verse says, this is faultless, this is correct. So here we say the Buddha's holy speech is without fault. So fault has, for example, the same word nomba in Tibetan that is used in Sojong, the monastic confession ceremony, whereby it says, do you see it as a fault or you see it as a wrongdoing? So in this case, this is the same word. So the Buddha's holy speech is faultless because it is correct, it is in accordance with the truth. Yes. Yes. So then it says, since this is well composed, it is easy to understand. So the Buddha's holy speech is never like mixed jargon, said spontaneously without any grammar or total mess up. So the Buddha's holy speech is totally well composed, and therefore it is easily understood by the listeners. Yes.
이말이다. 조지송 단데 좀된데서 라테네 좀된데 조지송데 다 릭버송 바레 니바명아 인도 릭버송 바레스.
So therefore the Buddha's holy speech, the words spoken in the Buddha's holy speech are well spoken. Yes.
다 레시 동보 조지송 님만은지 인천제 동보 좀된데 송 투윤도 거나 송 님만 남제 다 투종의 시럽지에네 이 인초번째 받아. 대내 대에 동 일을 삼용도 거나 아니 삼종의 시럽. 동 검배네 검종의 시럽지에네 도자다 셰도 때문에 세와제바. 소인 말이다. 투종 검종의 시럽지. 대라 때는 요모시바제바. 송바지.
Yes. So then the next verse says, at first your speech captivates the listeners' minds. Then if they give it thought, it clears away attachment and delusion. So here, the Buddha's holy speech is so captivating, it's able to hold the attention of the listener. And upon hearing the Buddha's speech, then the listener generates the wisdom that arises from hearing. And upon giving it further thought, then the listener gives rise to the wisdom arising from contemplation. And then if they further give it deeper reflection, then they give rise to wisdom arising from meditation. So therefore one is able to give rise to these wisdoms by listening, reflecting and meditating upon the Buddha's holy speech. Yes.
봄바난제 우인진신 대위 봄바 농아진 날 되겠나 좀 되는 이제 송 투윤도 거나 아니 샘 그래다 대로농선 농아지 우인진 말제바 다 밤에 남지 잡전제 다 밤에 바제네 그래다 대과 먹어서는 좋은 게 된데 좀 되는 게 손나 되네 그래네 기대가 논더 제요인데 네 밤에 봐대 네 잡은제바 소인말.
So then the Buddha's speech has the qualities of relieving the destitute. So those who are destitute are given hope, relief of their suffering through hearing the Buddha's speech. And also the Buddha's speech has a quality of protecting the unruly. So those who are reckless in their, or unruly or reckless in their behavior, then upon hearing the Buddha's holy speech, they're able to restrain themselves. So therefore, there's this quality of the Buddha's holy speech. Yes.
대화전다 조집이 조선군도 참반조 인다다 가시에는 사제게 대화 템부터는 영연도 거나 근데 대원게는 trực 받제 등에 등에 네 용기하러 와 인다 대답에 trực 받제 사제 대화들 때는 trực 받제 등에 돼서 나 영어 좀 되는 게 손나 때네 네 그래다 그게 사제 대화나 레텐지 대화 매와 고용이 인존로에 영화 유비 대화다 된대게 그게 주송윤도 거나 그래네 trực 받아 봐시네 심조와제야 된대 용요레 이제 다 동아지 날 등에 남지 원지 밤에 밤남 바요라고 아니 데비 책 등에서 이라 줘와지 된대 인도 아니 좀 내내 초지 송데 술라이나요 참되게 다다다 대장게 된대지 자기와 인도 조선군도 참반요.
So then also the next line says it induces the reveler to renounce. So for someone who is totally immersed or totally intoxicated by the pleasures of cyclic existence, the contaminated pleasures, in that sense are contaminated by ignorance, seed of ignorance or a seed of suffering. So therefore, if a person is intoxicated, totally overwhelmed by such pleasures, then the Buddha's holy speech can cause them to generate renunciation, cause them to generate regret or renunciation within their minds, in the sense that the Buddha's speech is able to reveal the true nature of such samsaric pleasures as being contaminated by suffering, and able to reveal the true nature of such cyclic worldly pleasures as being unreliable, as being impermanent, being prone to change and transition. So therefore, through hearing the Buddha's speech, then those people who revel in worldly pleasures are able to awaken to such a fact and then generate the minds of renunciation. So the Buddha is able to protect them by causing about such a process to happen. So therefore, as mentioned, these three qualities here, the Buddha's holy speech relieves the destitute, is able to provide hope to those who are destitute, and it protects the unruly. It helps them to restrain themselves from recklessness, and is able to generate renunciation or sadness. The word has the connotation of sadness or regret in Tibetan, but here it is translated renunciation, so we should assume it to be that. So then Buddha's holy speech has these three qualities. So therefore it says your speech accords with everyone's needs. So what Buddha's speech is able to pertain to each individual's needs, and totally fits their minds and what is best for them, what is necessary for them. Yes.
그래다 로람레 더송나 페야 소인버레 개반남네 가와지 바만남제 로용베 타미라르 남좀비 손데 제워고는 메스 그래다 개바 레시진에 담지 로한게 또던게 된데 이나 근데 좀 내가 손데라 때네 근데 가와지 야 근데 로파마 레다 로파마다 버튼데 레디오나 근데 롱게 공시바 데이터라 스타트 시즌에 로페요야 다 타마 메시게 된데 이나 니 마시베 라브린 존데 스타트 시토야 된데 인도 좀 내내 손데 니제 오서데 이나요 멤버 펜토야 된데 차디요레스.
Yes. Then the next verse says, it delights the learned, improves the minds of the middling, and dispels the darkness of the lowly. This speech is medicine for all living beings. So therefore, the Buddha's holy speech also is able to benefit those of higher, middling, and lower intellectual achievements. So for those who are extremely learned, then by encountering the Buddha's omniscient mind, knowing all objects of knowledge, then they experience great joy, great delight upon meeting such a wise person. And for those beings of middling intelligence, then through encountering the Buddha's speech, they're able to increase their knowledge, to acquire new knowledge above, on top of what they have learned so far. And for those beings of lower intelligence, then the Buddha's, upon encountering the Buddha's holy speech, the darkness of their ignorance are removed through hearing the holy speech. So in this way, the Buddha's holy speech is like medicine to all to beings of various different intellectual dispositions. Yes.
좀 내내 손데네 나도 나오지 이나는 칠등에서 개침보 공개 바타레는 로도나 아니게 마음이 장로야지 여러분. 나좀 내내 손데 된다면 말해 타녀와도 요나요 하종 침보 개침보 된다면 타레는 침비나요 개대가 론자마도 총rum으로 되는 요대 근데 손제 손게 그게 타는 거 가와 요나 간 고미고 삼 가와 요나서 다제제와이나 아니 대 이말 세자는 소동이 매와 된다 이 말.
So it is said that normally under ordinary normal circumstances, if if there was a source of sound and one were to stand next to it, one would be able to hear it extremely clearly, or either it would be too loud, or if one goes to a certain distance, then the sound tends to fade away, or it becomes too soft, we can't hear it, But however, the Buddha's holy speech is not like any ordinary sources of sound, in the sense that if one were to be right next to the Buddha, one would hear it extremely clearly without the volume being too loud. And if one were to go a certain distance, one would find that the Buddha's voice, holy speech, remains the same volume. It doesn't fade away, it doesn't become softer in any way. So one would still hear clearly, exactly like when one were to sit next right to the Buddha, as he or she was speaking. So in this way, and also it is said if one were to measure whichever direction or border, direction or space beyond which one would not be able to hear the Buddha's holy voice, then there's no way that one can actually make such measurements, because it totally pervades all directions. Yes.
알다 단다 좀 되는 인도 좀 좋은 남녀 저도 줘봐 뭐 가자 뭐 가지 벌써 좀 좋은 저도 줘봐 뭐 가지 벌써 바로 나 뭐 가지 벌어 근데 손지가 손게 다 가와서도 요나서네 근데 좀 좋은 지대 가 몸보지 봐 개지 지대 가 몸보지 봐 개로 되거나 손 그게 금दिन 요대에서 너무 제 고되게 요래 다 되는 지대 가 몸보지 내지 지대 감지라 임바르다 메테서 수고치 뭐요 임바르 된데지라 코 그게 니트지게 누게 동세자사게 샤브라 동세자사 저러 뒤에 거나 코페바르 팸로도 거나 안다 니트에서 담분이인지 보시고진도 없어 랍종에서 너 그래서 시에 말 대신에 손제 좀 된 손제게 다 된다 세죠 말에 내니 좀 맞지 문제인지 된 거는 또 마셔야 또 바시자위 근데 니도 좀 그러더니 저도 좀 말해서 손발에
So one point of time, this one Buddha's disciple is called Moggallana, who is the Buddha's top disciple in the region of clairvoyant powers, miraculous powers. He was like amongst the Buddha's disciples, he was top in terms of miraculous powers. He was able to show a lot of different miracles. At one point of time, he thought to measure the extent of the limits of the Buddha's holy speech. So then with his miraculous powers, he flew to various different worlds in various different universes. And wherever he went, he could still hear the Buddha's holy speech, irregardless, with equal intensity of volume, irregardless of where he went. So at one point of time, he came to this to this universe whereby people had very huge, large bodies. And so with his physical body and size, it came to rest upon this, like a stand, the stand that is used to hold the begging bowls of monks and nuns. So he flew upon that stand, and so I walked around the rim. Because of his size and their size, relative size, he walked around the rim. And so the people of that world, they saw him walking on that stand, and they said, they exclaimed, "Oh, what a cute-looking bug! Looks like a monk, So then they heard the Buddha's holy speech said, "Do not despise this being. He's my disciples and the top in the one of the greatest miraculous powers. So therefore, do not despise him." So even then, he could hear the Buddha's holy speech. Yes.
나 대에 대지지 바텔라 근데 뭐가지 부에 다 손제의 송은 다 가와서 요나서 쉬되고나 근데 손제의 송은 다다 저런 세송동에 요 말에서 송말에
Yes. So therefore, Moggallana in this way went to different worlds and universes in incredible directions and dimensions to measure the vast other limits of the extent of Buddha's speech. And however, he could not find a place where the Buddha's speech did not pervade. So therefore, in this way, it said the Buddha's holy speech is limitless. Yes.
나 시송마다 tembarchaos. 인다 대답에는 손지 송게 용데 대소네 레 tembache 다 tembache는 손지 대답에 용데 쳐바진데 도로제나 삼내다 도비치도 모놈 잡고 그래 가서.
Yes. So then here in this way, recalling, once we recall the qualities of the Buddha's holy speech in this way, and then to recalling such qualities, then aspire to achieving them and make prayers of aspiration to achieve such a state of Buddhahood. Yes. So whatever you have heard in this teaching, please apply them to practice. So in this prayer book, Prayers of the Teachings, the Mandala Offering of Thanks, page 27. Page 29.
Rava
Tunga be chuzi nambaram be wadan gege tsema shiwa dan tunge malu tsangwa shiwa dala shenge tuson dan dege sonye laden yawa losan chaba ye tenba yur rembo yur